It's time once again for That Business Show with Jamie Meloni on 1250 Wins WHNZ, where business becomes show business. Jamie is a leading Tampa Bay real estate agent and featured on the Wall Street Journal's list of top 100 real estate agents in the nation. Jamie invites you to list your home with him today and learn more at tampabayradio.com. Now, live in studio and promoting the entrepreneurial spirit that drives the American economy, your host, Jamie Meloni.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni, where business becomes show business. We're on 2 hours every single morning and live stream available if you're sitting in an office over at tampabayradio.com. So see the action here live in studio and a little bit more of what goes on inside the studio, and also put up some of the pictures and clips and websites of the different guests throughout the program. Also, we have a celebrity lookalike from time to time. Josh, you've been slacking on our celebrity lookalikes.
Yeah, I guess I have.
Yeah, we got four of them here today, man. You going to be able to pull off four today?
No, they're all looking at me like with like.
We got a full house here for the hour. We got a 4-pack here today.
Full house doesn't even begin to describe.
Yeah. We got 4 guys here sharing 2 microphones and 4 cameras here, and the cameras, 2 of them are pointed in one direction. We got the other 2 going on those guys. So Josh has got his hands full trying to keep everybody on camera. So if you're watching on the internet stream, there you go. Josh has got it all set up. There you go. Josh has got it all set up so everybody can see everybody on the live video stream. We're going to be talking about tax, accounting, financial services for the hour. We got Todd Unbehagen, founder and president and CEO of Unbehagen Advisors, in studio today, along with Chris Meyer, director of client services, and also Conan Raitt, vice president of tax, and also their attorney, Joseph C. Russo, in studio today. So, gentlemen, everybody, welcome to the program today.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
So, Todd, I will start with you since you're kind of the leader of the gang, I think, today. So tell us a little bit about your business, Unbehagen Advisors.
Well, good morning, Tampa Bay area. Great to be here. Unbehagen Advisors has been around in the Tampa Bay area since 1992, so we're going on 25 years. We specialize in tax and accounting and business services, financial reporting for small businesses, legal tax avoidance strategies. I said tax avoidance,
that's
not
where
tax
Joe
evasion.
Gets involved, right?
Yeah,
right.
So
the main point is that he's been in business longer than my girlfriend's been alive.
Hey, that's a good thing, you know. So we've been around, and we help small businesses succeed, and we become a vital part of their team, and help them with saving.
And you're coming off a deadline yesterday, September 15th, the deadline for filing corporate taxes. So if anybody's out there saying, "Oh crap," well, you just got a penalty. What's the penalty if you don't file by 9/15 for your corporate?
Oh,
penalty?
It can be a lot. You know, typically it could be $189 per shareholder per month after March filing deadline. So,
ouch.
Not a fun phone call to get if you're late for sure.
And so hopefully everybody got their business taxes in on time. So I know I got mine in on time. So thank you for that to myself. But it's just taxes is just one of those things about business that we hate to discuss. And then, I mean, as a business owner running a business focused on taxes, I mean, how did you fall into this business, or how did you come to open up this type of a business?
Well, it's a second-generation business. My father started it back in '92. I went up to UF, graduated, came back, finished up with master's in accounting, managerial finance, and, found my passion pretty quick in helping small businesses and entrepreneurs, as being one of them. And basically look forward to purposely helping small businesses succeed and save as much money. Because as we know, it's not always how much money you make, it's how much money you keep as well. So,
right.
And then also helping these businesses basically save time as well, and focus on their marketing and operations, and offload a lot of that CFO type service, that bookkeeping, tax planning, tax avoidance, entity selection, and then also payroll. We also have an insurance agency that we run. So
your whole business helps a new business owner get started with your entity set up and everything. You start with basically the starting point as well for a business. You're not just a tax accountant service.
The good thing about us is we can help clients from startup through growth through maturity, and then when they sell their business too, help them with the tax planning and everything. With the startup, helping them sit down and put together a good plan to pick the proper entity, whether it's a sole proprietor LLC, C corporation, or S corporation, because a lot of people don't know that depending on what entity you select will likely depend on how much tax you pay as well. So on the same amount of profit, if you choose the right entity for your business, depending on what you do, could dictate how much taxes you pay overall over the course of years. And so structuring that properly from the beginning is a great opportunity to sit down with a small business client and go through really what their hopes and dreams are and their expectations, but also sit down and think about, okay, well, if you do this the right way from the beginning, it'll help you for many years and many years of frustration. And set you right in the right direction to.
And
be
so many
successful.
small business owners don't really plan on this happening. They start doing something. They say, "Hey, I'm making some money on this," and then they go talk to the attorney or the tax accountant and stuff. And so at that point, how oftentimes have they made a mistake in business? Maybe they've went too far without incorporating. I mean, tell me a little bit about maybe misplanning and stuff that you see with business owners.
I mean, it's very often, especially this time of year, when a client will come in and they're just kind of shopping or looking around and they got a referral to us and they come in with their tax return and they've been doing it a certain way, thinking they've been doing it properly or thinking that status quo is okay. And you'll identify quite a few different opportunities for them, whether it's entity selection or deductions they're not taking or potential opportunities going forward. And, as businesses change, cash flow goes up and down. A lot of them aren't even tax planning throughout the year either. So they just kind of wait till the end of the year and, with their current tax accountant, they come in and say, oh, it's kind of like a jack in the box, right? It's a big surprise at the end of the year and what I call a kind of a freak out session when it comes tax time. And it shouldn't be like that. There should be, ongoing, at least quarterly or monthly financials and appointments and tax planning, because it's not a pay it at the end of the year tax system. It's pay as you go. And the IRS actually penalizes you with interest and penalty if you wait till the end of the year to file your taxes with the amount that you owe. So it's a proactive approach that we take to make sure that people are not only minimizing their taxes as they go, but also helping them with their cash flow, so that way they're paying throughout the year and they don't just get a big surprise at the end of the year. And that could potentially hurt them from a standpoint of them investing more into their business, and it gives them more confidence and peace of mind that things are being done properly.
Conan, I'll throw it over to you. You are the vice president of tax. So first off, tell me a little about your role in the organization.
Well, I started at the organization back in 2008. I've been doing taxes close to 25 years. I am an enrolled agent, and I come from a family that we had a tax practice. My grandmother started it back in 1970, and she eventually sold it to a much larger accounting firm. So we take a team approach because really any professional that you see, they can't really be all things to all people. So what we try and do is give the entrepreneurs a one-stop shop. So they can come in if they need some advice on tax, accounting, insurance, anything like that. So that being said, my central focus is tax, because tax is such a large kind of nebulous thing, and it's ever changing. It's hard to just focus on other things. I mean, we want the people on our team to stay focused on what they do, stay in your lane, so to speak.
Right, and there's so much subjectivity with regard to small business owners on what's a personal expense, what's a business expense. Do you find yourself oftentimes arguing with the business owner and telling them, like, listen, you can't charge off every single dinner that you have with the family every single night?
Well, what's funny about that is that really the federal government, after the big recession, they've kind of changed the landscape, so to speak. And what I mean by that is that now, if you want to get a loan, if you want to go to a bank, and especially like a home mortgage, you're going to have to demonstrate the ability to repay that loan on your tax return. So that's really changed a lot of the conversations that we have, especially with business owners, because I call it goal-oriented tax returns, so to speak. Because if you want to get a loan, or if you want to sell your business, then that business is going to have to show that it's profitable somewhere.
Right. And I've had this discussion with a number of business owners. They'll brag about this sometimes. Oh, my accountant writes me off to zero, so I don't pay any taxes. But then there's no way to sell that business. There's no way to get a loan on that business. So you have to have a strategy of reporting some income and paying some taxes, right? I mean, do you get this a lot of times in your office that people are saying, I just want to report that I'm losing money so I don't have to pay any taxes? How do you address that?
Well, I mean, it's kind of a joke that I have with people that, when they're out with their friends or they're in the bar, they want to brag that their business is really successful, but all businesses are horribly unsuccessful when they're sitting at my desk because they don't want to pay the government. So really, I mean, it's just a matter of constant meeting with clients, finding out what their expectations are, what their goals are, and what they're trying to achieve really is what it boils down to. So that's where we kind of differentiate ourselves, is that we take the time to establish that relationship with the client so that we can find these things out, so that we can better advise them on some of these things.
Right, and you want to be able to grow, and you want to be able to get a loan, and if you're reporting zero income, no no bank's going to talk to you. And I get that you want to save money on taxes, but you got to pay Uncle Sam. It's just part of the process. And you got to have proper tax planning throughout the year. And that's where Unbehagen Advisors can come in and assist you with that. And you can learn more at unbehagenadvisors.com. Chris, I'm going to throw it over to you. Chris, you are the director of client services, see in and out of a lot of the networking meetings. Also, just signed up with Tampa Bay business owners, new members of the group. So thank you to that, to the Unbehagen Advisors group. So Chris, tell me a little bit about your role in the organization.
I came to Unbehagen Advisors as a retiree from Verizon, 27 years in accounting. And corporate accounting, I was responsible for over $16 billion worth of revenue. And so it's been kind of a little bit of change in mindset because what's 16 billion with one company is 16,000 for another company. So
right.
It's just a matter of keeping or dropping a few zeros to get your mindset straight.
Right,
with
but
that
to
business.
the small business owner, 16,000 is a lot of money. Maybe
is.
It's not
It's a
to
lot of
Microsoft.
money. It's a lot of money.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
to Microsoft it's not, but to me and you it is.
Exactly. And so I take that same passion that I did for at the $1 billion level, taking it down to the $1,000 level, and be able to provide customers with the same type of service.
Sounds like somebody went broke.
Well, I haven't gone broke yet, but
He's like, I got more money than you. What are you talking about?
Right.
Go ahead.
But what I've been doing lately with Unbehagen Advisors is I've been working to find new clients who need our services, who sometimes don't even know they need our services, and be able to provide them with a holistic view of their business. I also bring to the table a business consultation. We're Unbehagen Advisors. We advise people. We try to help. I've got new startups that are getting ready to launch, and I've helped them get in with their contacts to be able to get grants, to be able to find financing, unconditional or non-bank, untraditional types of financing, to help them build their business. Because if the small business is successful, we'll be successful, and it's a joint partnership with us and the business. It's not just we're doing a single service for them. We're partnering with them to allow them to be able to grow and be successful also.
Joe, you're an attorney with Joseph C. Russo, attorney at law, but you also work hand in hand here with Unbehagen Advisors. Tell me about your role in the organization.
Well, what ended up happening, I'm a business transactional attorney, so I do a lot of business entity work. I do a lot of business sales, business corporation work. And so what ended up happening was over the years, whatever I do, I tell my clients, whatever I do from a legal transaction side, I have to go ahead, and there's always a tax accounting consequence to what we do from a legal standpoint. And so what ends up happening is that Todd and I met several years ago, and we hit it off, and we started working together, and we almost like a seamless transaction where I can help put together and decide what's the right business entity for a client, and then we sit down and we work on the business legal transactions. And we hand everything over to Todd and his group for the accounting and tax work. Okay.
I got to take a break here, but I want to talk about that a little bit more when we come back from the break, how to set up a business properly from the word go. So we got Joseph Russo in studio today, attorney for the group with Unbehagen Advisors, alongside the president and CEO, Todd Unbehagen, and also Conan Raitt, the vice president of tax, and Chris Meyer, director of client services. Learn more and take advantage of their services by visiting unbehagenadvisors.com. You're listening to That Business Show. Jamie Meloni, where business becomes show business.
Savvy business owners utilize technology to connect with customers, communicate among teams, and collaborate with partners. Even with advances in technology, you all know it's not infallible. Where do you turn when your technology starts working against you? Who do you depend on to keep your team productive? Don't wait until your technology fails you. Get ahead of the crisis and contact the professionals at Alpha Computing Solutions so they can show you how to keep your technology running smoothly. Visit them online at www.alphacomputing.com.
Did you know the biggest challenge business leaders face today is creating an engaged and productive workforce culture? Bill Meyer Ham Consulting wants to help you solve this challenge. They will help you transform your workforce culture to produce amazing business results. Call Bill Meyer Ham Consulting at 941-201-4650 today or visit billmeyerham.com. That's billmeyerham.com. Have a conversation.
I knew Mom wanted to stay at home. It's the center of her family, her life. But helping Mom stay in her home while managing mine was just too much. Honestly, it wasn't just about me. Mom didn't want me to be her caretaker. She wanted me to be her daughter. I felt so alone until I found out about Home Instead Senior Care. When we met the people at Home Instead, we just knew they were different. The experience was personal. And most importantly, for Mom and me, I get to be her daughter again.
Home Instead Senior Care. To us, it's personal.
How many times have you said to yourself, I wish there was an app for that? Stop wishing and start making the world better. Turn your brilliant idea into a profitable business by using Popcorn apps. Their affordable app design will help get your blue sky idea or proven business to the next level at a fraction of the cost of other developers. They will help you get through all the steps needed to make your thoughts become live. See them at popcornapps.com with a K in popcorn, or call them at 727-415-6705 for your free consultation and pop your kernel of an idea into $1 million business and a world changer starting today. What's up, business rock stars? Are you ready to bring out the CEO in you? Join Julianne Nichols, CEO of Focus on You Strategy, every other Friday on That Business Show. She'll be talking with other chief entrepreneurial officers about how they grew their businesses. Remember, you could join the conversation at Focus on You Strategies Focus Fridays Facebook group at facebook.com/groups/Focus Fridays. That's facebook.com/groups/Focus Fridays. Be the CEO of you.
At Vein 911, we will help you feel great again. Do you have restless legs, night leg cramps, or ankle swelling? Restless legs, cramping, swelling, and tired heavy legs are often symptoms of hidden vein disease. You do not have to have visible bulging veins to have the symptoms of vein disease. The vein care specialists at Vein 911 are uniquely qualified to evaluate and treat your veins. Are you unhappy with your previous vein treatment? Vein 911 succeeds where others fail. Call Vein 911 today at 855-VEIN-911. That's 855-834-6911 to book your free consultation. Vein 911. We will help you feel great again.
Who doesn't have a smartphone these days? And of course, there's an app for everything. Well, almost everything. That's why the folks at Popcorn Apps started developing mobile applications. They saw people like you with genius ideas, unable to make those thoughts a reality. They develop applications for tens of thousands of dollars less than you'll find anywhere else, and will turn your idea into a reality in a matter of just a few months. Think you're not ready? Think again. They are your one-stop shop for mobile application development. See them at popcornapps.com with a K in popcorn, or call them at 727-415-6705 for your free consultation and pop your kernel of an idea into $1 million business and a world changer starting today.
From the Bright House Networks Traffic Center.
Crash in Tampa on eastbound I-4 near US 301 has the right and center lanes blocked, and traffic now backing up towards 50th Street. Also seeing delays in the westbound direction approaching 275. Southbound 275, disabled truck just south of Fowler in the center lane. Crash over in Pinellas County on Park Boulevard near 125th Street. See traffic problems? Call the injury firm of Abrahamson Udrich. Hillsborough Traffic Tip Line 866-545-9595.
This report is brought to you by Unbound. Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice. Continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at unbound.org.
Today, partly sunny with a 40% chance of showers and thunderstorms, high 90. Tonight, partly cloudy, low 77. Tomorrow, a 40% rain chance, high 90.
You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni on 1250 Wins WHNZ. Missed a show? Then head over to TampaBayRadio.com, where all shows are available on demand. Once again, here's your host, Jamie Meloni.
And we're back to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni, where business becomes show business. We're with the group from Unbehagen Advisors. Learn more at unbehagenadvisors.com, and talking with their attorney, Joseph C. Russo, attorney at law. And you can learn more about him at josephcrussolaw.com. So I've always asked, Joe, I'm going to go back to you. I've always wondered this. When somebody is setting up a new business, I mean, if they go to your Unbehagen Advisors, it's a one-stop shop. But if they don't, I've always wondered, do they start with the accountant to set up? Do they start with the attorney to set up their business structure? I mean, where do they start? Should they go to the attorney or should they go to the accountant first?
Well, it really kind of depends, because it's not one or the other. It's both in synchronicity. Because what happens is, from a business entity standpoint, not every entity is one shoe fits all, right? especially if you have multiple partners or members or shareholders. So it's a matter of coordinating the understanding between the legal side of the entity, which is chartered through the state, and the tax side, which is the IRS governs. And so if you're not doing both at the same time, you're really doing yourself a disservice. So what we do is many times, and whether a potential client goes to Todd's office, he'll call me, or if a potential client comes with me, I'll have a consultation. And sometimes we have joint consultations with the client, especially if it's going to be a real complicated situation, startup. And what happens is once we have an understanding of what is the best business entity to fit, then we hand everything over to Todd's group to talk about how the best tax strategies are going to work together. And then it might change. It might go back and forth depending on what's going to go ahead and be the best for the client. And at the end of the day, the key is to go ahead and get the client in the right business entity being taxed the right way.
It's time for our weekly Seinfeld reference. There you go. Celebrity lookalike.
There you go.
Nice.
Kramer, have you ever gotten that one before, Joe?
Kramer was the first. Kramer's the first.
So we got one out of the way. We
Yeah.
got the other three
Yeah.
gentlemen waiting for their celebrity
I don't know.
lookalikes.
The other two sitting next to me are kind of scary.
I can't wait to see.
Those are the tax guys. That's why.
So Joe,
right.
is there ever a situation where somebody shouldn't incorporate, so they should just remain as a sole proprietor of their business?
Not really. And the reason
Because I asked that because I see realtors doing this all the time.
Yeah, well, the reality is, especially if it's going to be a single person, either a single shareholder or a single member, basically when you create the business entity, a limited liability entity, you're separating your personal assets from your business assets.
Right.
And it's a very simple process in reality, especially for a single person. And from that standpoint, you're almost silly not to do it. And if you do it correctly and understand how you're going to be taxed, because there's different ways to be taxed in that situation, you're going to get benefits not only from the limited liability protection of the business entity, you're going to get all sorts of tax benefits on the tax side also.
Okay. So, Todd, let me throw it back over to you. When a business is setting up, let's talk about some of the different structures, the S Corp, the C Corp. I mean, for the purposes of this show, we typically have, the small business owner up to maybe 5 employees that are listening. Should they all be, I think it's like the S Corp is the entry point for the typical small business owner, is it not? Or school me on this. What
By
we got?
Todd, you mean Jeremy Renner.
Jeremy Renner.
Hey, I'll take that all day long right there. I'm dropping the mic and leaving now. Hey, thanks, man. I owe you one. Lunch is on me. The entity selection process, I mean, again, we starting out purchasing the practice and growing to now this one of the single largest tax and accounting firms in the Tampa area, out of 420 in our network in North America with our Padgett Business Services network. As we've grown, we've learned a lot, and all our continuing education that we go to about 24 hours a year in tax. We've learned the right entity structure, and it continues to evolve. But one of the main things is that it really depends on the amount of income that the client has and the amount of profit, really, because you're taxed on the profit as a small business owner.
But if you're just starting out, you have zero profit technically if you plan from day one. So how do you do that?
But hopefully, if you're putting together a marketing plan and you expect to make some profit,
based on expectation,
and it's based on timing too. So it's if you can elect to be as an S corporation later on. You can be formed as an LLC or a single member one-owned LLC. Let's say that's the case for a small business or a one-owned business. They can start out as a single member LLC, what's called a single member LLC. That's a disregarded entity in the eyes of the IRS. They see it as if you've done nothing. So really you file the taxes just like a sole proprietorship. So you save the cost of a more expensive corporate tax return at that time. However, the taxes might be different on the profit, on the net profit of that. And there could be additional taxes on that, income tax and self-employment tax, which could be additional. So, then we look at the S corporation election. Possibly, again, there might be additional costs associated with that. And we kind of look at the timing, maybe started at the beginning of the year. So really the communication with the client needs to come in and talk to us as soon as possible when they're thinking about that. That's why day one, it's good to start planning that out. And you have to do things right. If you do elect to be an S corporation, you have to take reasonable compensation as an officer, which means reasonable and a W-2, and these sort of things start happening. And then you can possibly avoid some taxes on the net profit above and beyond that amount. So it's a lot to say in 30 seconds or less, but it takes, a 1 hour initial consultation at least, and then sitting with Joe and us figuring out the proper legal side and the tax side, and those two have to marry each other and be happy. So
all right. We'll continue this discussion when we come back from the break, again in studio with the group from Unbehagen Advisors alongside their attorney, Joseph C. Russo. You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni, where business becomes show business.
Hi, I'm Kelly Ham from Bill Meyer Ham Consulting. Did you know that one of the biggest challenges that leaders face is getting their employees to be engaged, motivated, and producing amazing business results? At Bill Meyer Ham Consulting, we'll help you transform your workforce culture from one that might be underperforming, maybe mediocre, to achieving amazing business results. You see, we realize that your workforce culture is equally as important as your business plan and your business strategy. The two must be aligned in order for you to reach your desired business and financial goals.
Carol,
hey Jim.
I just got this plan that could really help with our process here.
Okay, why don't you just have a seat and let's go over it.
Let us help you transform your workforce culture by leveraging your most important assets, your people. I want to know what's going on in your organization. Let us help you transform your workforce culture. Let's have a conversation.
I feel guilty that I can't always be there when Mom feels stuck at home. She was always there for us. But now she can't get out, and I'm not always available to take her places. Someone else needs to help her get around. Then I learned about Home Instead. Now Mom can do what she enjoys because her personal caregiver is there, and I can just be a daughter again.
Are you struggling to care for your loved one? We can help. Home Instead Senior Care. To us, it's personal.
Just call the injury firm of Abrahamson Uderick, Hillsborough Traffic Tip Line, 866-545-9595.
This report is brought to you by Auto America. If you have a damaged windshield and full insurance coverage, Auto Glass America can install a new one for free and buy back your old one for up to $100 on the spot. Call 813-96-GLASS. That's 813-96-GLASS. If it's chipped or cracked, they will buy it back.
1250 winds, Weather Center forecast. 90 for the high today. Partly sunny skies, rain chance 40%. Scattered showers and a few storms mixed in. Low in the upper 70s through the weekend. 90 for a high each day. Partly sunny skies, rain chance 30%. Impact Radio, 1250 winds, WHNZ.
You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni on 1250 Wins WHNZ. Missed a show? Then head over to TampaBayRadio.com, where all shows are available on demand. Once again, here's your host, Jamie Meloni.
Welcome back to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni, where business becomes show business. Talking all about tax, accounting, financial, insurance services here with the guys from Unbehagen Advisors. Learn more at unbehagenadvisors.com alongside attorney Joseph C. Russo. Learn more about him at josephcrussolaw.com. Chris, Director of Client Services, tell me a little bit about the intake process and what you can do for clients at Unbehagen Advisors.
Well, a lot of times clients are wondering how much time it's going to take to interact with their accountant. Our fees are based so that we're not on the clock, where you don't have to worry about giving us a call. So we're always available on the phone for advice and information. What I want to stress is right now, we're starting to expand the Tampa market. In other words, we're based in Tarpon Springs, is our main office, and we share an office with Joe Russo in South Tampa. So I'm meeting with clients in the South Tampa area. If you're interested in having a consultation, you give me a call. we'll get together and we'll see what's right for you.
All right, and your phone number is 813-777-2412, correct?
That's
813-777-2412. Or reach out to Chris Meyer. His email is cmeyer@unbehagenadvisors.com. Conan, let's throw it back over to you for a little bit more input here, Vice President of Tax. So you're dealing with a lot of these people, day in and day out. Talk to me about, how you help them.
Well, typically what will happen is that we will meet with a new client. We'll do, the broad strokes, take a look at their prior year's tax returns, what their current financial data is, et cetera, and then, start getting in the tax planning process. So I like to stress with people that our sort of approach to things is that our job is to take these complex tax issues and boil them down into the most simplest form to help somebody make a decision. So I try to oversimplify things at times, but my job is to say, look, okay, if you do X, it's going to cost you this much. If you do Y, it's going to cost you that much.
Right.
And I find that that's usually where the disconnect is with people, is that they're used to talking with accountants and tax people that'll either blow them off and say, oh, don't worry about it, we have it covered, or they won't explain things to them. And I don't think people want to know all the technical ins and outs of taxes, but they want to know enough to make an informed decision.
Right.
And that's where we start with, because anybody can do a tax return for you and get you a big refund or make you pay a lot of money in taxes. But our job, again, is to help you understand how these things work enough for you to be able to make a decision.
What about the business owners that are behind? Because it's out there. I mean, people get behind, they get frustrated, and they just kind of continue. I mean, I've known people that have gone 4 or 5 years, and it seems, from what I've noticed with the different people I know, it's like 4 or 5 years before the IRS catches up with them sometimes. But I mean, for people that are struggling out there with back taxes, what would you say to them? Would you say, because they're scared, they just want to rock the boat, they know that nobody's bothering me right now, I mean, it's only been like a year maybe. What would you say to them?
Well, there's a few points to consider on that, and I'll try to move quickly through it. But the first thing is really, as much as we might hate to say it, the IRS operates on implied threat. They only have a limited amount of resources.
Right.
And the things that aggravate us about the IRS also work for us. So it takes them a long time to do something, and if you have an issue, it takes them a long time to do something. But if you haven't filed tax returns in a while, it takes them a long time to do something.
It does. I've seen that with some of the people I know.
So the first thing that I try and do with someone is just calm them down, take a deep breath, and really what you're doing is twofold. One, it's going to cost you more money in the form of penalty and interest if you haven't filed, especially if you owe money. But this is the main reason I think anybody who hasn't filed in a while should really consider filing, is that there is a statute of limitations if you owe tax, and it goes out 10 years. Now, certain things can stop and start that, but if you never file your taxes, that tax has never been assessed, and you never start the statute of limitations clock. So that's their big issue, is that they want you to file, get something filed, and then that way everything starts moving after that. And it's a lot easier to deal with them if you're current on your taxes and if you have things moving in the right direction. If you don't, then you're kind of speaking from a position of weakness with them, because they can see in their records you're a non-filer, you're not compliant.
Well, that's
et
what
cetera.
happens. They finally file in year 3, and then they go, well, where's the last couple? And that's what I'm saying with regard to rocking the boat. They just kind of let it just keep going and going and going and going. And then eventually they get that letter in the mail that says, hey, you haven't filed. But it just seems like that average is like 4 or 5 years when they don't do anything.
Right, and it can average 4 and 5 years. And the other kind of misconception is that the IRS really relies on third-party reporting. So if somebody hasn't filed a 1099, especially if you're in business for yourself with a corporation, you won't receive 1099s from people. So if they don't have third-party reporting, you're not really on their radar that much. So that can also give you this sense that, well, they're not contacting me, maybe I shouldn't do something, etc. But there's always this sense of urgency to at least get something filed, so that way you can get the statute of limitations clock moving, apply for financing, etc.
Not to mention, though, as an entrepreneur, you only have so much energy, right? So putting this energy of not filing taxes and being late ahead of you actually going and growing your business and getting new customers and running the operations, it's a drag down. It's an anchor. So there's that's a key point as well. Not just the mechanics of it, but also as an entrepreneur, just freeing them up their mental energy to go out and grow their business.
Yeah, and it speaks to the point of, if you're thinking of starting a business, getting with a group like Unbehagen Advisors and planning from day one. So when the income starts coming in, you start setting it aside and having a plan for paying Uncle Sam. Because if you just start spending it all, well, then it's going to be a little bit hard to pay Uncle Sam, right?
Absolutely. Managing cash flows is a huge deal with small businesses.
Can I touch on one thing real quick? I met with a sales tax attorney a few weeks ago, and their firm basically specializes in that. But anyway, what a lot lot of accountants don't do is kind of explain the differences between some of these taxes, and I just want to take a second to do this on this platform, is that income taxes is basically your fee for living in America. It pays for the government, the president, the military, but other taxes you pay inside of your business, sales tax, payroll taxes, or 941, they're what they call trust fund taxes. And I caution anybody out there right now, you have to take trust fund taxes much more seriously, because you're basically taking the government's money in trust, holding on to it, and then paying it at a certain time. And they have much broader collection powers than they do with regular income tax. The only time I've ever seen a client in 25 years go to jail is over sales tax.
Really?
Because it's other people's money.
Right.
So payroll tax is your employee's money.
Right.
First of all, so you're stealing from them if you don't remit it to you're in trust to remit it to the IRS. Sales tax, it's your customer's money that you're trusted to remit to the state. So by not doing so, it, like Conan said, is much higher and much worse penalties and stuff that can happen. They go after you personally as an owner of the business, personal liability, personal liens on property. So, you see these small businesses sometimes they'll try to not send in payroll taxes because they're floating their cash flow. Never use those two trust fund accounts ever, or you shouldn't use taxes period to float your own cash flow. But most importantly, like Conan said, never use those, because the ramifications are basically a chain on your door and or arrest and other things. So because it's other people's money in trust.
Joe, let me throw it back over to you. You want to elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, well, Todd really, completed what my thoughts were. It's one of those things that you business, we can handle from a legal standpoint. A lot of times we can go ahead and handle a business's liability, direct liability, with the right business entity, with the right contracts, with insurance. But another issue that businesses face all the time are audit issues, whether it's workers' comp audits, whether it's sales tax audits. Those types of liabilities are kind of hidden. People don't think about them until they happen. But if you're not running your business correctly, it's one of the things that can really, really put a hurt on you when the time comes. And so it's a twofold thing you have to look at. Not only do you have to look at your direct liability, whether it's your customers or somebody's going to sue you, we have things in place to help you with that. But it's the audit issues that come up and really bite people in the behind when they're not thinking about it.
What's the percentage of business owners that are getting audited out there, the small business owner? Because the IRS's resources have kind of dipped down a little bit. I don't know who can answer that most effectively, but what's the percentage of audits out there?
Really, it's about less than 1%.
So, wow.
I mean, people don't even realize that. And, you don't have to take my word for it. Believe it or not, the IRS has a book. It has a very creative name. It's called the IRS Data Book. You can go on their website and you can download it anytime you want to. And it tells you what type of business entities they audit, what their income scale is, their amount of tax, et cetera. So really, the IRS is focused on the top 3% in the country.
One of the things that was published in there, and it was also in Fortune magazine, they published this, but the S corporation entity is audited 10 times less than the sole proprietor entity, and these are published IRS statistics. So
is that just because they're generally a lower type of earner, so it's just not financially worth putting their resources out there?
I think what it is the way that the IRS computer systems are set up is that a personal tax return, when you deduct things like auto expense, home office, and things like that, it has dedicated forms, okay, and that those systems are designed to analyze those forms. S corporation tax returns, for the most part, is just a line item.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think that those returns are designed to just kind of move through the system a lot faster, because individual taxpayers pay, I think, 95% of the taxes in this country. Or, well, I'm sorry, it's about 85. Corporations pay about 12% of the overall taxes in this country, believe it or not.
Interesting stat
So
right
all
there.
the rhetoric that goes on and stuff, 12% is what these major corporations are paying. The rest of us are carrying the rest.
Well, because a lot of these small businesses are pass-through entities. So the LLCs and the S corporations, the profits pass through to the individual owners proportionate to their percentage ownership of the business. So they get passed through and taxed at the individual level as well. So that's where the audit will happen on that side. And then, also an S corporation probably has, a little bit more sophistication with it. Tax accountants and accountants working with small businesses usually with those. It's not one of these entities that you can just pop open and say, hey, I'm a sole proprietor today and I'm in business. Let me go get my little fictitious name and rock and roll. It's something that you need to sit down and talk and work through and do right. Because if you don't set up an S corporation right or an LLC, it's a loaded gun, and you're not trained how to use it. And ultimately, the ramifications of issues and stuff happening if not filing correctly can be way worse. And if you're not set up properly, can be way worse. If you're not doing things properly, like taking a reasonable officer's comp and all these other requirements that the IRS has for S corporations properly, if those aren't done correctly, it can blow up on you pretty quick. And so it's a little bit that's where we come in and we can really help educate you and let you know, okay, here's what you need to do. If you're going to do this, then here's what you need to do to play within the rules and ultimately reduce your chance of audit, reduce your chance of liability, reduce your tax liability, hopefully, and that's a big part of the overall process.
Not to mention reduce your sense of humor. Let's get back to celebrity lookalikes.
Oh, we got another one.
Come on, that's not fair.
Let's lighten it up a little bit. There you go. Kevin James and Thomas Lennon.
There you go. Kevin James. I can see that one. I can see that one. All right, I got to take another break here again with the gentleman from Unbehagen Advisors alongside attorney Joseph C. Russo. Learn more at unbehagenadvisors.com and josephcrussolaw.com. Got a lot more with him when we come back from the break. You're listening to That Business Show. Jamie Meloni, your business becomes show business. If you've been following That Business Show on Facebook and Twitter, you may have noticed the quality of some of our images. That's because one of our sponsors is pro photographer Rick Taseda, a member of the Professional Photographers of America. You can view his extensive work by going to his website at ricktaseda.com or call him for an appointment to chat about your photography needs at 813-641-4757. That's 813-641-4757. Rick Taseda Visuals. Call him for your next event or project. In an age when the good and the better vie for attention, it is the best that stands out. The best of Tampa Bay from Proudly Florida is the love story for the city of Tampa, celebrating success, sharing achievements, a tribute to enterprise and community spirit. Let Proudly Florida showcase your business to your city, your nation, and the world. For more information, email info@proudlyflorida.com and be sure to visit proudlyflorida.com.
Have you ever tried to buy a home for your family only to find out that you don't qualify for a mortgage loan? You thought that after 20 years as a customer of your bank, they would help you when you needed it the most, right? Unfortunately, the banks of today are not the banks of our parents and grandparents, and our relationships with them just don't matter anymore. My name is Frank Cotto, and I'm the president of the Lincoln Lending Group. We all may need a bank, but we also need a Frank, and that's what I'm here to do for you today. Lincoln Lending Group will waive all of your lending fees, which include your mortgage, application fee, your underwriting fee, processing fees, and any bank points. Just call 813-MORTGAGE. You drop the E, and we'll drop the fee.
How many times have you said to yourself, I wish there was an app for that? Stop wishing and start making the world better. Turn your brilliant idea into a profitable business by using Popcorn apps. Their affordable app design will help get your blue sky idea or proven business to the next level at a fraction of the cost of other developers. They will help you get through all the steps needed to make your thoughts become live. See them at popcornapps.com with a K in popcorn, or call them at 727-415-6705 for your free consultation and pop your kernel of an idea into $1 million business and a world changer starting today.
Teresa Turner is a certified public accountant and the founder of Tax Happens, a boutique-style CPA firm providing small businesses and individuals with hands-on, personalized tax and accounting services. Although we would love to tell you how happy their clients are, we would like you to see for yourself. Tax Happens has 21 Google reviews and a 4.8-star Google rating, 17 Yelp reviews and a 5-star Yelp rating, 38 Facebook reviews and a 4.9-star Facebook rating. What sets Tax Happens apart is number 1, upfront pricing, 2, clear deadlines, 3, personally available year-round, and number 4, a willingness to empower clients to do as much or as little as they desire. Visit taxhappens.com for more information.
Savvy business owners utilize technology to connect with customers, communicate among teams, and collaborate with partners. Even with advances in technology, you all know it's not infallible. Where do you turn when your technology starts working against you? Who do you depend on to keep your team productive? Don't wait until your technology fails you. Get ahead of the crisis and contact the professionals at Alpha Computing Solutions so they can show you how to keep your technology running smoothly. Visit them online at www.alphacomputing.com.
Are you in need of new flooring or ready to tackle that home remodeling project? Then contact Yeager & Company Incorporated, a family-owned, state-certified general contracting business with over 70 years of experience and the recipient of the Angie's List Super Service Award for the last 8 years in multiple categories. Yeager & Company comes to you with their shop-at-home flooring sales service, and their hardwood flooring refinishing is the very best in the Bay. Kitchen and bath design featuring American-made, well-born cabinets, and all work is done by employees, not subcontractors. Learn more at YeagerFlooring.com.
From the RP Funding Traffic Network.
Good morning. Crash on eastbound Fletcher Avenue approaching 56th Street has traffic very slow through this area. Also big delays on eastbound I-4 approaching the Fairgrounds area near US 301. Crash blocking the right and center lanes here. Southbound 275, you're getting held up by a disabled truck just south of Fowler Avenue in the center lane. And a crash being cleared in Seminole on Park Boulevard and 125th. See traffic problems? Call the injury firm of Abrahamson Udrich. Hillsborough Traffic Tip Line 866-545-9595.
This report is brought to you by St. Pete Clearwater International Airport. Pi makes people happy with low-cost fares, nonstop flights, and exciting new destinations. Depart to 56 cities, now including Austin, Texas, Port Smith, New Hampshire, and Trenton, New Jersey. St. Pete Clearwater International Airport. Going away? Check PIE today.
Today, partly sunny with a 40% chance of showers and thunderstorms, high 90. Tonight, partly cloudy, low 77. Tomorrow, a 40% rain chance, high 90.
You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni on 1250 Wins WHNZ. Missed a show? Then head over to TampaBayRadio.com, where all shows are available on demand. Once again, here's your host, Jamie Meloni.
And we're back to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni, where business becomes show business, alongside the guys from Unbehagen Advisors and also Joseph C. Russo, their attorney at law. Learn more at josephcrussolaw.com and also unbehagenadvisors.com. Joe, tell us a little bit about how you work hand in hand with Unbehagen Advisors, some of the services that you can help provide to business owners out there.
Sure. Well, several years ago, what I've noticed was there was a big need in the marketplace, and clients would come to me with whether it's a lawsuit that was filed or sit down and they were going through this messy transaction, and I would look at them and I say, well, why are you bringing this to me now? I really can't help you. We have to go to the litigation attorneys or whatnot. And I always got the same answer back. It was always, oh, well, I didn't want to call my attorney because they charged me, for a 10-minute phone call, I get a $90 bill, or I didn't know who to ask, or I didn't know what to do. So what I've been trying to do was create a program where big companies have legal counsel, legal departments, where smaller companies can't afford to hire a $150,000 attorney on staff.
Right.
So a lot of smaller to mid-sized companies need the legal advice, and so what it created was a program where you could keep me on retainer, and I take care of all your phone calls and emails, and I am the voice that goes ahead when people call to get to and ask what we do first, and we try to head off a lot of those problems right up front. And Todd does a similar program with him from an accounting standpoint. So what we try to do from a small business perspective is be the operations system for a company, so the owners of the company can work on what they need to work on, and that's sales, marketing, get their clients, and legal issues, accounting issues, tax issues, we handle on the back.
Right, because a lot of times, just sending a letter from an attorney is a lot to offset a lot of the issues. But if you don't have an attorney, a contact, it can be a little bit of a scary situation. You may be you may let something go a little bit too long. Or how would you respond to something like that, Joe?
Well, it's always, it's funny because what ends up happening is people get these letters, whatever type of letter it is, and they want to go ahead and throw it in the trash, or they put it away. They don't want to think about it. Instead of making a phone call or sending an email to their attorney saying, what is this? How do I deal with it? It's something we can take care of right away. As it lingers, you never want stuff like that to linger.
Right.
As it lingers, it gets worse. So we try to jump on it as fast as we can, and that's kind of what we're trying to provide here.
Todd, let me throw it back over to you. Unbehagen Advisors, has grown into a big, huge company here. Just tell me a little bit about the growth and how it's evolved, and also touch on a little bit about your insurance division too. We didn't touch on that yet.
Sure, great. Yeah, no, we've evolved. We've kept the same things in mind though. Helping.
How's that for a beauty shot up there?
What you got?
As your scrambled eggs moving all over the place.
Yeah, where we go?
Hey, look at you. Just to the left a little bit.
Right, here we go.
All right, no, you're fine. Go ahead.
All right. So, we've evolved with the same principles, though, to help small businesses succeed. And, 92 is when we started, and growing the practice, we've taken a lot of the information from our clients and a lot of the input and listened to them as far as what they need, and have evolved to become somewhat of a one-stop shop for small businesses, focusing on their needs from the financial and admin side. And through that, we've got a lot of good relationships with Joe, for example, and other people out there that are professionals that we can help network with and help our small business clients.
How did Unbehagen Advisors start? Was it just like a local little accounting firm? I mean, what did it start from, and what was that? And I always wondered a lot of times when you see this type of success in a business, how did you grow effectively, or was there just this one person who came in and really helped it grow, or how did you get that growth in your business?
Well, like a lot of small businesses, initially we started with my father starting an accounting franchise through Paget, moving from a corporate world, and then I went out when I graduated UF and worked in a Fortune 500 company, decided to come back, and I purchased his small tax and accounting firm, and then grew it to, like I said, what is now out of about 430 in North America, top 10 largest within the Paget network, within about 8 years. And
was that you pounding the pavement and making
just
the
like
sales?
all entrepreneurs do, I mean.
But it was making key relationship with other people, and delegating
relationships,
effectively.
handling a lot of rejection initially. I remember the first building when I first came in. The first 3 months of my career was with buckets of paint and a sledgehammer, and it was a hair salon. And I was knocking them out, and thank God my wife worked at the time, and I was able to go out and talk to a ton of small businesses, canvass the area, provide that value proposition, how I'm going to help them, and then follow through. Most importantly. And one client at a time, and so we did that from day one. The first year, I was able to grow to a point where I was able to then bring in somebody and for help, and then from there, we've just added a great team, and we now take this wonderful team approach. Our team is fantastic. It's not just Bob the accountant or Sue the accountant. It's when you call in, you've got the ability to talk to many people within our organizations. We have a one day turnaround on phone calls and emails. We really care about the small business owner and communication, getting back to them. You're not going to call us and get a call back in 2 weeks like a lot of places. You're going to find somebody that can help you pretty much real time. And if we can't figure out the solution, because of our growth, we've got a great network of people that can help as well. Let's say we don't do something, we can get you with our relationships in the hands of somebody that can really look out for you, and then we can help manage that relationship as well. So, and we have so many clients that it's nice that we almost become a networking group within our firm too. We try to make introductions for our small business clients and help them succeed as well, because we want them to be clients for a long time. We want them to be successful. And so that's how our business philosophy has grown. And
you have insurance and investments as part of your practice as well. At what point did you add on these other divisions on top of the tax and accounting?
Well, the insurance and the divisions come about in the past 4 or 5 years. And again, this was based upon a need from clients saying, hey, I'm not getting good communication. I don't know if my policies are in the right place. I don't know if my premiums are correct. And you look at a client's P&L, profit and loss statement, and you say, okay, what are some of the biggest expenses you have? What are the most frustrating expenses? Oh, insurance. Have you shopped that yet? Have you looked at that? Well, no, my agent hasn't talked to me in 4 or 5 years. And so, it was a need based upon client frustration. And so we've evolved, and I've opened Unbehagen Insurance, which is a completely independent insurance agency, and we do all lines of insurance from commercial to individual lines. And we've got a great staff, and they can help communicate. And then they can come over to our tax team, and our tax team can work with our accounting team and work with a great attorney like Joe, working with the entity. And so we can all kind of come together for that client, and for basically no additional fee, and in one conference room table or one phone call conference, and really provide that much more value for that busy entrepreneur.
All right. Good information and from a great group of professionals in here on this early Friday morning. So Todd Unbehagen, President and CEO of Unbehagen Advisors, thank you so much for being in studio today. And if you could use their services, reach out to Chris Meyer, Director of Client Services. You can get in touch with him, 813-777-2412. Again, 813-777-2412, or visit unbehagenadvisors.com. And also thank you to Conan Raitt, in studio Vice President of Tax. You'll be dealing with him as well on the tax services. Some good information from him, as well as Joseph C. Russo, attorney at law. Joseph, thank you so much for being in studio as well. Learn more about him over at josephcrussolaw.com. Hope everybody has a great weekend. Be sure to tune in again Monday morning at 7 a.m. to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni, where business becomes show business.